welcome back to Room 237, and this is the last of the Patreon requests that I have for September. Again, this is for jamaral81, and he wanted me to do the Mario Bava Giallo film, $5 for an August Moon, which I have as part of Volume 2 of the Bava collection. I have a video where I go over both volumes of the Bava collection, so go check that out. I'm a big fan of Bava's work, especially his horror and Giallo films, especially his gothic horror films. $5 for an August Moon it's a Giallo film I've known about for a long time. It was one of the reasons why I wanted to pick up these Bava sets. Of course, on this, it is in its native Italian with English subtitles. It was released in 1965. Oh, 70. Wow. Idiot. It was released in 1970, the same year Argento would come out with Bird with the Crystal Plumage and redefine the whole Giallo genre. It stars people like Ira Furstenberg, William Berger. I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, so forgive me if it's wrong. Edwidge Finesh. She's been in a lot of Giallo films. She would actually go on to be in some that I've already talked about. $5 from August Moon. All the Colors of the Dark is a Giallo I've actually had my eye out for. I've heard that's a very good one. Case of the Bloody Iris. Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Had the Key. When Women Were Called Virgins. Lots of Giallos. I know there was one, at least one, that she had done that I talked about already. I guess not. And she was the art class professor in Hostel 2 for more modern audiences. Also stars Howard Ross, who starred in a series of Hercules films in the early 60s. He would go on to be in New York Ripper. Other Giallos like Naked Girl Killed in the Park, The Pajama Girl Case, 5 Women for the Killer, The Killer Reserved 9 Seats, Pajama Girl Case. So you have very genre familiar faces in this. Justine Gall and Maurice Poley, who would work with Bava again in Barren Blood and Rabid Dogs. The music was by Piero Umiliani, who, that does sound very familiar. Should have done all this before. Worked with Bava again, Roy Colt and Winchester Jack, which is on this set. It's a spaghetti western. I don't know if I'll be reviewing it anytime soon. It's not a very good film. Okay. Okay, so about this movie, it takes place at the home of this wealthy industrialist named George Stark, or rich guy named Stark. It takes place over this weekend where a group of couples have been invited, one of which is a guy named Jerry Farrell, who's the scientist that has created some sort of new formula or resin that everyone else wants, because then they can mass produce it, do whatever they want to it. He doesn't want to sell it because during its creation his colleague died, and he's not very comfortable selling it. But and you know, there's all these twists and turns and triangles throughout the film, like Farrell's wife is having an affair with Stark's wife. This one guy that's there, he tries to use his wife, whom he's very open with her having sex with other men. He tries to get her to, you know, get with the Professor Farrell. You know, they all want a piece of this resin or formula. The house servant, Jacques, is found dead. Outside, no one really knows who did it. And then the boat to take them back to the mainland has been untied, and the radio is out of commission. So they're all stuck there. And while they're there, bodies start to pile up. And no one knows. Of course, and you know, the mystery is who's killing all these people. At one point, even Farrell himself is found dead. And then it becomes more of a battle for, you know, like, because you have all these millionaires in one place. Trudy, Farrell's wife, still talks about how there's a possibility that she could still have a way to get this formula. And it moves at a pretty fast pace. You know, it's only 81 minutes. The twist at the end is quite interesting. It kind of... I didn't see it coming at all. I'll get to it. One thing I'll say is the music is kind of... I'll say the music is kind of like Suspiria, where it's very bombastic and loud. There's several scenes... For some reason, it kept reminding me of, like, Light My Fire or, like, 60s piano sounds, but very, you know, high notes and very... There's some scenes where it even sounds kind of crackly because it's so loud. It can kind of be distracting. I know one of my favorite traits of Italian film and Giallo is often the music. I wasn't the biggest fan of the music in this film. The acting... It's kind of hard to tell with the acting because where it's still in its English language, I can't really tell if people are overdoing it or underdoing it. It is easier to watch than when it has the English dubbing. But it was cool to see a lot of the familiar faces within Italian films. It's certainly not my favorite of Bava's Giallos. That would certainly be Bay of Blood. Yeah, Bay of Blood is... I was trying to think of... Girl Who Knew Too Much, I would also put above this one. This disc also comes with 4 Times That Night, which I have not seen yet. I guess it's a sex comedy. Don't really know what that means. I guess it's like, you know, when I think of sex comedy, I think of like everything from Porky's to 40-Year-Old Virgin, stuff like that. American Pie. But anyway, I guess I'll get to the, well, it does kind of get confusing at first because you do have like 3 or 4 couples at this house, and each couple has either their own affairs going on, their own intentions, or even each member of each partner of the couple has their own separate intentions, separate from each other. So there's a lot of inner character stuff that's going on. I did like, it did show sort of the, not so much the breakdown of the story, but once Farrell is found dead, you know, the main reason why they're all there changes. So it really makes it more frustrating that they're all trapped there, and you know, just seeing the desires and motivations of each character change, which I guess I'll have to get to the spoilers with this. If you're a big fan of Giallos, I mean, it's still definitely worth checking out. It's still a fine Bava film. I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put it anywhere near like favorite Giallos ever, like Bay of Blood, even outside Bava, like Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Deep Red, Tenebrae, even Don't Torture a Duckling. I might. Well, actually, I don't know, because Fulci's Giallos are not really that strong. I'd probably put Bava's Giallos over all 3 of Fulci's, 3 or 4 of Fulci's. But if you're a fan of Giallos or like Italian horror, it's still worth checking out. But I'm gonna get into spoilers. So after Farrell is found dead, they start stashing the dead bodies in the walk-in freezer. Most people are shot. Like, so let's see. You have like the 3 husbands all badgering Farrell for his formula. Find Charles. Gunshot, found his body. This young girl, Isabel, which she is played by Justine Gall. She's the one that drags his body to the sea. Tempers flare, Farrell's parent. This one woman, Peggy, who is Jack's wife, and Jack is another guy that was trying to buy the formula. She is shot on the balcony. Marie, who is another wife of a group member, she was found tied to a tree and stabbed in the chest. Jill turns up dead in the bathtub with her, wrist slash. They chalk it up to suicide. Which Jill was, Marie was the husband that could openly have sex with people, and was supposed to get with Farrell to get the formula. So yeah, she was found tied to a tree and stabbed. Jill was that George's wife? Yeah, George's wife, Jill. And eventually, all the bodies get put into the freezer. Surviving members all stay in the living room. And at one point, Trudy, Farrell's wife, and Stark himself, the owner of the house, she tells him that the formula still exists on a microfilm, or I guess the ingredients or how to make it or whatever is on a microfilm. And he has a check for $1 million. Each person with the check that wants to buy it has $1 million. But just as they're about to trade, they shoot and kill each other. And then Jack, one of the husbands there, says he killed everybody but Farrell because he wanted their money. He wanted their checks. Which, wait, hold on, I'm kind of confused. Oh yeah, Jack confronts Stark and says he killed everyone but Farrell because Farrell was like the second to die. So he couldn't get the formula, so he decided to kill everyone to get their checks because, you have two other people with $1 million checks. He tried to kill them for that. And then he killed Peggy because she almost figured out his plan. So then Jack shoots him. Trudy then offers him the formula, and then they're the ones who shoot each other, not Stark and Trudy, like I said before. Again, this one was one where I kind of got mixed up on names and who was who, because it does kind of move at a faster pace than other Giallos that I've seen. So then Isabel comes in, steals the checks. Jack tries to stop her. Trudy dies first, and the shooting of each other. And then sometime later, and it didn't really explain how this happened, or if it did, I missed it. Isabel goes to visit Farrell in prison, because turns out he didn't actually die. She gave him a sodium pentothal pill because she saw that her dad had used it on animals and it would work as a tranquilizer. But she didn't realize that sodium pentothal also has truth serum in it. So he ended up revealing to authorities that, which I'm guessing after everyone was killed, she called for help. And she must have kept giving him tranquilizers during these days or whatever. But in any case, when the authorities got to him, he revealed that he actually killed his colleague, the co-inventor and rightful owner of this formula. So now he's in prison. He's awaiting his execution. And Isabel comes in and says, she's broke and she needs help because she cashed and spent 2 of the $1 million checks, couldn't cash the last one because she didn't know the bank account number. So he was thankful to her for whatever reason. So he whispers to her the account number. Then it just shows her getting in the limousine saying, "Take me to wherever." And that's the end of the movie. Also knowing that, he's going to die no matter what. But, yeah, it kind of felt out of nowhere. It wasn't so much, I didn't mind the idea that he was alive the whole time. she kind of hid him away. The sodium pentothal tranquilizer thing didn't bother me, and how he was actually the killer of his colleague. I liked that idea. But the whole thing about the checks in the bank account, maybe there's something I didn't get. I don't really know. And then the ending with her just telling her chauffeur to take her somewhere. I mean, maybe I should have finished the end credits. Normally with Giallos and Italian films, they just end, like freeze frame credits. This one kind of played a little bit. I didn't expect that there would be anything more, so maybe I didn't play it. I just paused it to make this video, but I don't know. It doesn't say anything happens, so I don't think anything happens during the end credits, but yeah, I guess just I didn't really understand what exactly he was thankful for. I guess, making it so they didn't get the formula, or I don't know. I liked all the other ideas. I liked the idea, like I said, of her using tranquilizers on him, inadvertently make him have this truth serum, and exposing that he actually killed his colleague. I liked all that. I thought that was interesting. And then just sort of how after Farrell supposedly dies, how all the other characters just turn on each other and get more and more paranoid about certain things and more greedy with each other. I liked all that. I thought this was an interesting movie. Excuse me, just not one of my favorite Giallos. Not really a whole lot to say about it, but so yeah, for jamaral81, this was Mario Bava's $5 for an August Moon. The only other Bava films I have not watched is Four Times That Night, Roy Colton, Winchester Jack, and I think there was one on Volume 1. Maybe not. But then there was the Italian version of Black Sabbath that I wanted to watch because the one I reviewed was the American one. Maybe I'll do that for the anthology marathon of October. But yeah, that's $5 for an August Moon, jamaral81. I hope you enjoyed this. Last Patreon request for September. For October, or whenever, if you would like to make a request, go over to Room 237 Reviews Patreon, become a patron. There's several tiers. You can get more reviews the more you look up. It's fun seeing what people will request, and there's perks in it for everybody. But yeah, $5 for an August Moon. I enjoyed it, just not one of my favorite Giallos or Bava films, but yeah, thank you for watching.